आज हेल्प एज इंडिया एनजीओ की तरफ से यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा आयोजन किया गया है। आयोजन में चर्चा हो रही है कि किस तरीके से अलग अलग जनरेशन्स के बीच में एक ब्रिज बनाकर उन्हें एक दूसरे से जोड़ा जाए, कनेक्ट किया जाए और जो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है जो कई बार हमारी ओल्ड एज वाले लोगों के साथ नहीं बन पाती है, उसे किस तरीके से पूरा किया जाए, आज इसी पर यहाँ पर चर्चा हो रही है। हम आज पहुँचे हैं इंडिया इंटरनेशनल सेंटर, जहाँ पर ये बैठक हो रही है। आपको सुनाते हैं उसी बैठक से कुछ अहम बातें जो निकल कर सामने आ रही हैं।
On behalf of Helpage India and alongside our chairperson Mr. Kiran Karnik and vice chairperson Ms. Rumjum Chatterjee, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all our partners, funders, collaborators and supporters of the cause. A special welcome to all the elderly who are with us today. Your presence is our strength. And the younger generation who are in good numbers here today. You bring the energy, compassion and curiosity that this dialogue needs. Together, you represent the perfect mix of wisdom and vitality. We are very honored to have with us our chief guest, Ms. Carolyn Kongwar Deshmukh, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Environment. Thank you so much, Ms. Deshmukh, for your leadership and commitment to elder care in India. We are also very grateful to the Ministry for their support, collaboration, and openness to work with social sector organizations. Also joining us are over 80 senior leaders from more than 40 senior citizen associations, representing lakhs of seniors in Delhi, and Mr. J.R. Gupta, President of Senior Citizen Delhi, who is a true champion of active aging and social change. And a special welcome to our distinguished experts, panelists, whom we'll be introducing later. Now, as Helpage India, we are in our 47th year, and we remain steadfast in our mission to work for the cause and care of the disadvantaged older persons and improve their quality of life. We are a community-rooted organization reaching marginalized elders across rural and urban India. Over 90% of our work is with the poor, 70% in rural areas, and 65% with women. Our work spans healthcare, aged care, livelihoods, and emergency response when needed. Based on our community-based work and the research that we do, we try to make efforts to do system-supported work.
And good morning to elders and to-be elders. There's no gap here, either elders or to-be elders. So welcome to all of you, those here and those online. A special welcome to our chief guest, Ms. Deshmukh. Thank you so much for taking time and being with us. I think it represents for us our collaboration with the government. Thank you, Rohit, and a special welcome also to my colleague, Ms. Rumjum Chatterjee, our Vice Chairperson, and of course, all colleagues from the Helpage team. Very briefly, I want to take off from where Rohit left off. He gave you the gist of what this is all about, what we try to do, and how we try to make sure that generations work together. As he rightly said, I would hope that while the rest of the world may have to celebrate, I hope not, but may have to continue to mark, not celebrate, the World Elder Abuse Day. In India, we will very soon move to maybe an Elder Connect Day or a Communicate with Elders Day and get rid of this elder abuse altogether. Yet, as Rohit pointed out and all our research shows, there is a small degree, but a continuing degree of unfortunate abuse, mostly in the domestic setting. It's not just domestic though, it's also societal, where elders are looked on as either helpless or a burden or some kind of, weight on society. And this is reflected in many ways by a term that, in earlier days I myself used to tout it around saying India is going through a demographic dividend. Huge youth population, full of energy, dynamism, creativity, innovation, and that's going to take us forward. And that is very true, that doesn't change. But the other part of that is while these are demographic dividend from the youth, there's also reflection that what is demographic dividend? It is, in some sense, or in a simple definition, the ratio between the working age population and the dependent population. Dependent includes very young children up to the age of 15 or 19, depending on what you take, which is fair because they're at the stage where they're growing, they're learning, they're studying, they're doing things which will prepare them for a career. But also, those above 65, very often 60, are considered dependent. And that's a word I don't like when we talk of demographic dividend. What are dependents? Given where many of us are, given the fact of modern healthcare rapidly improving, rapidly changing, why should we look at these people as dependents? Yes, some of them, also including some young people, may have problems where they're unable to do physical work. But every human being has talents that are special. And we see this all the time around us. If there are people who have some physical problem, it's more than made up by some extra capabilities in another dimension. So we see people who are very creative, and you think back around the world, I won't give you examples, and from your own experience of those who are afflicted by something physical, either in terms of motor, legs, hands, in terms of speech or hearing, and often other kinds of afflictions. And yet they have very special talent of a altogether different kind. So each one has his own. But for the rest, a majority of people, aging is just marked by retirement from what is a formal job. But there's no reason to be inactive. You just saw a brand ambassador, and I can reveal her age because she said it herself. She's 80. Look at her activity. Look at the way she's traveling. Look at where she's not here today. She's traveling. She goes not only around the country, but around the world, talking, speaking, inspiring people, and in many ways building the image of India. And she's 80. So why should we consider people above 60 or 65 as dependents? And this is where our concept of active aging comes in. And this is where the whole generational interconnect is critical. Because these elders, while they may not want to, even if they can, work full time, while they may choose to spend time as they like, they have a tremendous amount of experience and wisdom to share with the younger generation. And that is what we need to look as a phenomenal base. We talk of skilling, upskilling, reskilling, the skill base, the talent base. Here is a huge pool of talent that comes from experience and the wisdom of having seen all kinds of situations and contexts. Also embedded in that is the wisdom of old culture. It is the elders who transmit culture from one generation to the other. Especially today when you have families where both the younger people, the husband and wife for example, are working. And their children, which may be grandchildren, are looked after by grandparents. And the grandparents spend more time with the children, grandchildren, than their parents do. And they are the conveyors of values, of culture, of ethos. And that's a tremendous pool of knowledge, which is something very special to India, because it transmits, as I said, the values and wisdom that is part of our ethos. And a very vital part of that ethos, as Rohit emphasized, is family values, respect for elders. And as we continue to transmit that, the intergenerational gap will disappear, the intergenerational bond will increase, the intergenerational dependence, if you want to use the word dependence at all, will increase. Very young people need someone to look after them, to guide them. Very old people often need somebody to teach them things like digital skills. And yes, there are special things, we ourselves do some training, but nothing like learning within your family. And the best people to learn from is probably your 10 or 11-year grandchild who knows digital skills inside out, better than his parents do. And I think there is something special which we got to look at. And this is something as my hope for this day, next year or the year after, that increasingly it becomes an elder connect, an intergenerational bonding day, and not an elder abuse day. I want to thank all the panelists and those who are here today in the audience, which is not a passive audience. As Rohit mentioned, we have set apart time when you can comment and question. And also, especially, our partners and donors who have helped us take forward the cause of elders, along with all of you. And by partners, I include all the senior citizens associations, in some sense represented by Mr. Gupta here. He's a regular at our events, and I'm always delighted to see him.
He's 2-3 मिनट बोलूँगा, ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा. मैं हमेशा कम बोलता हूँ और मतलब की बात करता हूँ. मैं इसमें बोलना चाहता हूँ कि यंगर जनरेशन में और एल्डर जनरेशन में क्या क्या फ़र्क है। अभी मैं आ रहा था, मुझे ध्यान आ गया, मैं हमारे फॉर्मर चेयरपर्सन चेरिन साहब को याद कर रहा हूँ, बॉबी को याद कर रहा हूँ, जो कि उस सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हम लोगों ने केस लड़ा, वो भी हर हेयरिंग पे जाते थे, मेंटेनेंस एक्ट बना मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस से। तो वो सारी बातें मैं आपके सामने रख रहा हूँ, और ऐसे ऐसे लोग रहे हैं, और बेचारे वो भी जी हमारे बीच में से नहीं है, बाकी सब हैं वहाँ। देखिए क्या है कि जो यंगर जनरेशन है वो चाहते हैं कि हमारी लाइफ में एल्डर्स ना परेशान करें हमको। वो कहते हैं हमारा इंडिपेंडेंट जीने का अधिकार है, लेकिन एल्डर्स ये चाहते हैं कि बच्चे वो मोबाइल छोड़ के कम से कम आधा घंटा हमारे साथ बैठें, लेकिन वो पॉसिबल नहीं हो रहा है, और ये होना चाहिए। ये कुछ मीडिया वाले जो हैं ये इसमें कुछ मदद कर सकते हैं हमारी, कि वो एक संदेश दें यंगर जनरेशन को कि आखिर में बुढ़ापा उनको भी आना है, और वो लोग उनको मदद करें, हेल्प करें, ताकि जब तुम बूढ़े होगे तो तुम्हारे यंगर जनरेशन जो है तुम्हारा भी ख्याल रखेंगे। एक कहानी जरा सी 2 मिनट 1 सेकंड की है कि एक आदमी ने कंबल लाया और कंबल ला करके उसको भिगो दिया, और भिगो के कह दिया भाई रात को तू इसको ओढ़ लेना और दिन में मैं ओढ़ूंगा, और वो बेचारा परेशान हो गया। तो इस तरह से कि छोटी लंबी बहुत है, लेकिन मैंने शॉर्टकट कर दिया, कुछ नहीं करूँगा। मैं सिर्फ यही चाहता हूँ, आपने समय मुझे दिया, मैं सबका धन्यवाद करता हूँ। जय श्री राम।
Welcome to Ms. Deshmukh. Thank you so much for being with us. Mr. Karnik, our chairperson, Gupta ji, our Senior Citizen Association leader, and all the other leaders in the hall today, Rohit, and all my other colleagues in HelpAge. It's always a pleasure to be with the HelpAge gatherings in this venue for the last many years, because I've seen different ways in which we are able to connect, different themes, different topics get discussed, and then we have the opportunity to work on some of them with different stakeholders. So today, the topic that we are talking about, intergenerational connect and bonding, is also another area that has come forth very clearly for all of us on what we can, not just by ourselves, but together do to address the issues that have been brought before you when the survey results were being presented. This glimpse that you got today of the intergenerational gap and what and how we can bridge this was only presented from the point of view of the urban elders and urban youth. Through our work and through many other research reports, I think it will be very important for us to also focus on the fact that the rural elders, the rural youth, may behave somewhat differently. And since more than 60% of our population live in rural areas, we work with more rural elders than we do with urban, we will perhaps need to focus attention very differently on the two segments. So I'm parking that for another discussion that we will have within HelpAge and with all our stakeholders to see what are those issues, what are the challenges, how and through whom, what kind of partnerships we can bridge that. Last year, in another very significant report that we carried out, we learnt about how the elder women perceive their own conditions very differently from those of elder men. And I am sure that, while I am addressing the issue of urban versus rural, the issues of elders cannot be taken as one homogeneous lot. There are differences in the way that elder women will respond to these same questions. So we need to keep in mind that our strategies for finding solutions will have to be different. Because their roles, because their perceptions, because the way that society looks at women and men till now, and particularly those who have become old now, will need different ways to address them. Another question that I want to leave for your consideration. Today the report and our study has focused on elders and the youth. I am assuming that the youth that we are talking to are the grandchildren of the elders. We need to cement also that middle generation, because intergenerational bonding and the roles and responsibilities and the dependence that we spoke about actually needs to be strengthened for all three generations, not skip generations only. Yes, the skip generation, the youth as I call it, can play a role and can play very different roles. But let us not ignore the role that has to be played by that middle generation. So I will keep that in abeyance to say we all need to find different ways in which we will deal with it. Amongst the different stakeholders, yes, we can look at programs that find ways in which we engage with the elders, which we can do with the help of the youth, so that digital learning, inclusion, and all of that can be easily transmitted and taught to the elders by the youth and keeps them cheerful. But there is also another factor that we will find is that the solutions must come from each family differently. There is no one size that fits all, and therefore I say that each one of us has a responsibility to find what works and what will keep the engagement with the elders and find the right solutions that will bridge all the issues that they are facing. Communication plays a very, very important role. I understand that. But I just want us to reflect on two different things. One is that in a situation where increasingly the narrative is that women are encouraged to go out and become economically independent, which just means that in the years to come, we will see more and more women either working from home or going out to work or doing their own little entrepreneurial ventures. And that is going to have an impact that today we are not preparing ourselves adequately for, which means that the caregiving responsibility that today rests on the shoulders of women in the families is going to have a major impact. And that's where I would like to bring in the huge role that we can all play in preparing ourselves for that, but also in the presence of Ms. Deshmukh, our chief guest today, I want to leave that one little request for us to think about, saying the care economy and what we need to do in preparation for that has to be actually addressed on a war footing. Today, while women are going out to work, it's only a marginal number of women who are able to do that. because the caregiving responsibilities are preventing them from actually realizing their own potential. But to do that, they are investing a lot of their time, energy in providing what is called unpaid labor. You talk to women today and they'll say that who pays for all the work that I do at home? That doesn't even get counted in the GDP of the nation, right? And therefore, what kind of initiatives we need to look at to ensure that the care economy is addressed adequately, enabling the women to go out and participate in the workforce, is a very, very critical dimension. It's not going to be easy for us to estimate what that increased GDP will be if all women are able to do this kind of participation in the workforce. But unless we get our own environment and system and the social ecosystem ready to be able to provide care for the elderly and for the children and for those who need assistance, we are not going to be able to achieve what we set out in terms of a Viksit Bharat. And therefore, whether it is policies, whether it is old age homes, whether it is care facilities at home, we in HelpAge India are already thinking about it in terms of how we can train caregivers so that there is more, shall I say, productive ways in which we can address the need for caring of elders. But we can't do it alone. We have to get all other stakeholders on board, and I request that the government certainly partners with us and we start this dialogue together so that we can move towards finding solutions for both of these. There are lots of things that the community and through our SCAs we are already seeing happen as far as engagement is concerned, but unless the family is fully on board in terms of how we can make elders more comfortable within their homes, we have a long way to go. So with that, and I know that there are no simple solutions, we are going to work towards it, but the need is to get all stakeholders on board, the government, all our community participants, our corporate partners and donors, our NGO partners and institutions, and all of us individually, collectively finding solutions. I'm sure we can address this in a very short time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. सबसे पहले श्री किरण कानिक जी, Chairperson HelpAge India governing body, Chairman HelpAge of India governing body, Mr. Rohit Prasad, CEO HelpAge India, Ms. Rumjum Chatterjee, Vice Chairperson HelpAge India governing body, Shri J.R. Gupta ji, President Senior Citizen Council of India, and distinguished participants, invitees and attendants, and I see Amrita also, my friend and colleague here. So it's a privilege to be here. प्रयास करूँगी. जब मैं thank you. आज सुबह जब मैं इस मीटिंग के लिए आ रहे थे और मैंने अपने सचिव महोदय से पूछा कि क्या कुछ विशेष संदेश देना चाहते, क्योंकि originally it was my secretary who was supposed to be here. So he said, of course, I mean, the fact that we have a responsibility, the ministry as such has a responsibility, and not just the ministry but the state governments and each one of us also, of implementing, of observing, of ensuring that the maintenance of Parents and Welfare of Citizens Act is implemented in the proper in the proper way. So from the ministry, being the nodal ministry for implementing this act also, we are making efforts to ensure that the act is being implemented. In fact, recently the secretary has also been ensuring that we take regular reviews and ask the states what they are doing. We are going to the states, we're going to the regional review meetings to review this. Apart from that, of course, our ministry implements a number of activities like the Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana, State Action Plan for Senior Citizens, the Elder Line, which Rohit ji had mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, the training for geriatric caregivers, and other activities that we are implementing. But of course, like Rohit ji and Kiran Karnik ji also mentioned that it is not just the government, but mainly the family, the society, which also play a role. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate and applaud Help Age India's initiative in this campaign, Walk in My Shoes, Mere Nazar Se Dekho. I think it's extremely important and very, very right time to raise these issues. In the different presentations, Anupama ji had shown us the statistics. We are a growing number, and Kiran Karnik ji had said, of course, elderly and the to be elderly. All of us are in the to be elderly group. Personally, I would say that yes, my journey here would not be complete if it had not been for the seniors and the elderly in my family. I mean, right from our grandmothers, my 2 grandmothers, stalwarts, my grandfather. One of my grandfather, I didn't know because he passed away when I was small. But they played a very, very big role in shaping my journey here. And even in my 30s, when we were battling in the professional field, I was in the district with very young children. My husband posted in a different district. However, I found the time spent with the elderly. I had made very good friends through the Rotary Club, through the Lion Club, where most of the people who were active there would be seniors, either doctors or professionals who would volunteer. So I was extremely lucky to have made friends with them. And my most enriching moments, apart from learning from them, just spending time with them, enjoying, a relaxing day after work, the stress of being in the field as a district magistrate, dealing with law and order, dealing with schemes, dealing with all that. But I found spending time with them, I mean, like, those barriers just vanished. We used to do karaoke, we used to have dinner, and we used to have such good times together. So those are the moments that I remember that, there was just no barriers. And if the communication is there, if there's no judgment, and there's no expectations of roles, so, the barriers just melted away. And I think this is what you're talking about when you talk about intergenerational bonding. Yes, there is a framework, yes, there are roles, but at the end of it, it's the connect. I think the connect, the non-judgmental communication, that is most important. How do we ensure that this is available, this is accessible to everyone? The society, of course, plays a part. The family, सबसे important है. And like Rumjam Chatterjee ji said, all the 3 generations, the youth, the seniors, and the middle, we play a part. When we talk about sanskar also, I mean, it's just not the formal lessons, I think that is important, but learning from how we observe our parents behave with their parents, how we behave with our aunts and uncles and the elderly. And I think that's how our children also learn. And giving the space, yes, so many of us are caught up in these busy lives, but ensuring carving out some space to spend time, whether it's going for a movie, whether it's spending time together in a meal, whether it's just talking over tea, walking in the park. These are the activities that can be planned for, interaction and communicating, and a lot of life lessons also can be learned on that. You talked about, how do we put it in a framework? At present, I think Help Age India is also one of those stakeholders that Niti Aayog has been consulting for the caregiving economy, to put it in a framework. But apart from that, the ministry is also looking and interacting and even consulting with different ministries to develop a framework. How do we ensure that there's a formal framework for intergenerational bonding in schools? How to involve grandparents, grand aunts, other seniors, maybe their children are abroad, their children are in another city. How do we give the space to make them be part of this activity of interacting with our youth, school children, college children, maybe in the community itself? If a kind of framework can be made that we can be enriched, we can learn, and ensure that there is a kind of a forum, there's a kind of a platform, there's a space where the elders can also participate and interact. The learning from the young people, and I think that's a very, very important point where all three, Rohitji and Kiran Karnikji and even Rumjum had said, I think the learning from the youth, even here in government, in administration, we see that the young people, they're much, much more dynamic, they're much, much more innovative when they approach a certain problem with their solutions. I think if we only open up their mind, yes, there's a lot to be learned from these young people also. And I think that itself, that attitude, if we cultivate that attitude, so that will, I think, foster a better communication between the seniors and the youth, maybe help in breaking the barriers when we say that there's no common interest. In fact, there's so many common things. Now, even for us, as we are progressing, the whole society, in fact, is moving towards digital systems. Even if we are financially independent, even if we are healthy, yet systems are changing, and it's important to learn how to adapt. The two most critical issues that I think are important to address also, the financial health, financial independence, and the health issues. As we age, definitely health issues are there, and with the health and the importance of having finances to ensure that we get access to health, proper health care. So for this, it's also, in fact, to be part of the policy. It is a part of the policy, but we are looking to ensure that the formal system is also taking care of this. We are looking that apart from putting it in the policy, actual roadmaps will be made for ensuring that there are provisions for pension, there are provisions for financial health for the elderly. So these are the things that are part of the policy that we're making. But apart from that, the importance of having NGOs, the importance of having communities, the importance of having industry be part of the army that helps implement these systems, I think we have to walk hand in hand, we have to work hand in hand, and together I think we can build that society, that ideal society where we have mutual respect for the seniors as well as for the youth, where we can have enriching lives even towards the sunset years. And like Kiran Karnik ji said, the importance of being physically active. Aajkal, in fact, 60 is the new middle age. 60 to 80, most people really don't have much problems. It's only after that yes, there is some kind of decline for which we are supposed to have systems in place. Government has recently approved the Ayushman for the seniors, 17 above, with no income barrier. I think that's a big step for ensuring that the health concerns of the elderly are taken care of in the system. But apart from that, yes, we still have a lot, like Rumjam ji had said, we still have a lot of work to do, miles to go in the rural area as well as in the urban area. In the rural area, you talk about the women, who will take care of the women. I see it from the other side. Aajkal, in fact, if you look from the rural economy point of view, we have 10 crore women in SHGs. And if you see the journey of NRLM over the years, I think it's amazing how these women who were maybe class 5 pass, who were class 10 pass, but they are now taking strides in activities, income generation. Some of them have even bought cars for their husbands, vehicles for their husbands, and basically, in fact, they're the ones taking care of the whole family. But yes, who will take care of them and their needs? Which is why we need systems. We talked about the caregiving economy, the policy paper and the roadmap which is being actively worked upon by Niti Aayog. We're looking forward to that. And we hope that these frameworks, these systems will enable to put in place systems and facilities both in the rural and in the urban, in urban sector, in all the sectors, financial, health, mental health, and other activities, and emotional well-being also, so that our society together, from the youth to the senior, will walk hand in hand towards a Viksit Bharat. Thank you.